Week 14 Day 1. Sunday morning at Pearl Harbor. At breakfast time on Sunday morning, December 7, 1941, Dory Miller was serving coffee aboard the battleship West Virginia. Dory was black, and the highest job to which he could then aspire in the U.S. Navy was that of messman. While Dory was technically a member of a great fighting fleet, he was not expected to fight. Most Army and Navy officers inveighed against blacks as fighting men. Although blacks were nettled by such overt prejudice, Dory Miller apparently accepted being relegated to the role of a mess hall servant. Now, as he poured the coffee, Dory was wondering why the airplanes above were making so much noise on a peaceful Sunday morning. Sample sentences. 1. Although the comic's quips seemed to be mild, they began to nettle the nightclub's owner. 2. I had a premonition that Eli would aspire to the position of captain. 3. The pickets agreed to inveigh against the law that curtailed their freedom. 4. Overt acts of violence by the prisoner jeopardized his parole. 5. When they tried to relegate the star to a minor role, she was furious. Week 14 Day 2. The infamous attack. The coffee cups suddenly went spinning as an explosion knocked Dory Miller flat on his back. Jumping up from his supine position, the powerfully built messman from Waco, Texas, headed for the deck. Everywhere that Dory looked he saw smoke and mammoth warships lying on their sides. Overhead dozens of Japanese dive bombers controlled the skies without a U.S. plane to repulse their attack. The havoc was enormous. Without hesitating, Dory joined a team that was feeding ammunition to a machine gunner who was making an ineffectual attempt to protect their battleship from being razed by the torpedo planes. Sample sentences. 1. From a supine position, the hunter emitted the animal's mating call. 2. Following the revolution, the people raised the subterranean dungeons of the dictator. 3. Management is sure to repulse any request for increased remuneration. 4. Mammoth placards announced the opening of the new movie. 5. The virulent plague caused havoc among the populace. Week 14 Day 3. The heroism of Dory Miller. Men all around Miller were succumbing to the lethal spray of Japanese bullets. He dragged his captain to safety and turned back to see that the machine gunner had been killed. Dory took the big gun and trained it on the incoming bombers. Within the space of 10 minutes he was credited with destroying 4 bombers while dodging the bullets of their fighter escorts. The enemy scurried away, having struck the incisive blow that precipitated U.S. entrance into World War II. Amidst the dead bodies and the ruined fleet were the heroes such as Dory Miller. The Navy had told him that he did not have to fight, but he hadn't listened. The Navy had attempted to stereotype him, but Dory changed all that. Sample sentences. 1. Our editor castigated the proposal with his incisive commentary. 2. Poe's hero watched the rats scurry across his inert body. 3. The jockey received a lethal kick from the fractious horse. 4. A quarrel was precipitated among the relatives after they heard the terms of the reprehensible will. 5. The laconic Clint Eastwood is a stereotype of the strong, silent Western hero. Week 14 Day 4. For distinguished devotion to duty. Some months later Dory Miller was serving on an aircraft carrier when Admiral Chester Nimitz, the commander of the Pacific Fleet, came aboard to preside over a special awards ceremony. In stentorian tones the Admiral presented Miller with the prestigious Navy Cross, commending him for a singular act of valor and disregard for his own personal safety. Miller's heroism helped to shatter the bias against African Americans in the armed forces. Although he could have accepted a sinecure at a U.S. naval base, Dory chose to remain in the combat zone where he was killed in action in December, 1943. Sample sentences. 1. The director was ousted from his sinecure when he angered the mayor. 2. In his customary stentorian tones, the sergeant reprimanded those who thought the army was a haven for incompetence. 3. The word, surrender, is anathema to people of valor. 4. A viable peace was brought about as a result of the diplomat's singular contribution. 5. The bigot's bias precipitated a fistfight.